Miss Quinn!
Lord Stellen,
What exactly do you think you're doing?
Forgive me, your lordship. I wasn't...
Give me one reason I shouldn't turn you out of this house this very instant.
I thought I saw someone outside, in the storm.
Who did you see?
A woman, I think, pointing at this part of the house as if she needed someone to let her in.
Deciding who may or may not enter this house is quite the presumption.
That was not what I was doing.
Is impudence a trait you wear proudly?
Your accusation is offensive and misplaced.
And your actions speak to boldness unbecoming of a guest.
Would you rather leave someone out in the storm?
If they didn't have the good sense to avoid the rain, yes!
So you'd leave someone to freeze rather than help?
Don't put words in my mouth, Miss Quinn.
Why? Afraid you might choke on them?
My father had his reasons for bringing you here, and out of respect for him, I'll abide by his invitation. Nonetheless, let me be clear. I must insist you confine your activities to your duties and avoid this area of the house.
And why is that?
Because these doors protect you from dangers best left undisturbed.
What sort of dangers?
You only speak in questions, woman!
Only when it appears someone is keeping dangerous secrets from me.
This wing of the house is old and has structural issues, and the last thing I need is an intrepid Crown Hall scholar breaking her lovely neck. My father is dying, Miss Quinn. I don't want more death on my hands than I can manage.
Of course.
So will you please, for the mercy of my sanity, return to your room? I'll have one of the staff see if someone is caught in the storm.
Very well. Good night, Lord Stellen.
Good night, Miss Quinn.
Studio Hermitage presents Clawmoor Heights, an Our Brilliant Ruin story. Created by Rachel J. Wilkinson.
But you don't believe you saw a person.
I don't think so.
Then why pretend you did?
It had been a tediously long day dealing with some very trying people. I was exhausted, and the staff had been ruin clearing since before my arrival. I couldn't be certain of exactly what I saw, or maybe didn't see.
And you ran afoul of the Valgrieve sons.
First impressions weren't exactly favorable.
So this inquiry of Bertram's could be their doing.
Well...
You've left me in the dark long enough, Agatha. You must tell me what happened. Everything that happened.
I know, it's just... It would take all night.
Then it takes all night. If there was ever a time to trust your mentor, now is it.
Where would you like me to start?
From where you left off.
Well, as I was saying, Lord Stellen was determined to prevent me from opening those pocket doors, so that's where I left him. As I retreated to my room, I heard him securing the lock and testing the doors. But if that part of the house posed such a risk, why leave the key in the lock plate? That mystery kept nagging at me. By the time I made it to my room, I was exhausted and knew I would have a difficult day ahead of me.
Close the doors. Apprentice Novak, please ready the phonograph.
Remember what we discussed last night.
Focus on staying calm. The onus is on him to make his point, not on me to defend my actions. And be honest about my time at Clawmoor.
You owe that family nothing.
Good morning. Let's begin day 2. If I could have quiet, please.
Their problems are of their own making.
I know.
I'll be right over there.
I know. Go before you irritate him.
Irritating Bertram would be the highlight of my day.
Master Rossi, take your seat. Please.
I'm going.
Apprentice, start the recording. We convene today to review fellow Agatha Quinn's conduct, particularly if her actions deviate from our guild's ethics. Reports allege she exploited the Valgrieve family's hospitality for personal revenge and engaged them in hazardous experiments related to the ruin. This has prompted us to deliberate her unbonding from Crown Hall College. So far, we've discussed your arrival at Clawmoor and your first attempt to educate Lady Josephine, with some other colorful digressions. Do you blame the Valgreaves for failing to execute your contract with professionalism?
The situation presented unique challenges that impacted the execution of my duties through no fault of my own.
We'll be the judge of that. Now, I understand you made a second attempt to secure Lady Josephine's commitment. Let's start there.
The morning after my arrival, I went downstairs for breakfast to ask if anyone knew where I could find Lady Josephine. But the kitchen was a whirlwind of expertly controlled chaos. It was as if I'd found them preparing for opening night at the opera, or in this case, an aristocrat's engagement ball.
When the guests arrive, their staff will enter through the side door. Make sure to label the luggage, and please, please, please write legibly. I'm serious. We don't want a repeat of the Astis Willow debacle. The Meer side of purple continues to send me into fits.
Yes, Mrs. Bryant.
Cook, how are we?
Fully stocked and bacon since dawn.
And reserves?
Plenty. Probably too much.
Then we'll all eat well.
With as much as we have, so will the animals.
Please coordinate service with Mr. Crispin.
Yes, Mrs. Bryant.
Good morning, Miss Quinn. We've got breakfast in the corner there. Help yourself.
Thank you. That's very kind of you, Mrs. Bryant.
Hallen, Perry, give me good news.
Took all night, but we fixed the motor car, Mr. Crispin.
Well done.
Nicely done.
Done.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Excellent, Hallen. Lord Clawmoor will be pleased.
Couldn't have managed without Perry's help.
I'm absolutely spent. Breakfast, then bed.
Join Crispin and me at the table, Perry. Hallen, you're welcome too.
Wish I could, but duty calls. I have to rescue Lady Inez's folks. They're marooned at a rancher's hamlet down the mountain. They must be a sight, standing there dressed to the nines, up to their waist in sheep and goat. Times like this, absurdity is priceless. I wouldn't miss it for anything.
Here, take some breakfast with you.
Thanks, cook. Gotta run.
I'd be happy to join you, though.
Please.
I've been meaning to ask you, Miss Quinn, and I hope this isn't too forward, but there was a stable groom here some years ago, and you are the spitting image of him. Liam Quinn was his name.
That would be my father.
I thought so. How is he?
He left us some years ago.
Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry to hear that.
When was he here?
About 10 years ago, I think.
They rebuilt the stables shortly after he... Lord Stellen acquired Feeder around that time, and I believe she is about 10 years old now.
You'd love Feeder. She's a silver dapple mare that gallops like she's got something to prove.
I hope to meet her.
I always liked your father.
That's very kind of you to say. I know things didn't end well for him.
No, they didn't. But I liked him all the same.
What happened?
Mr. Perry, that's none of your business.
He was let go.
A terrible shame. He could have easily become stable master. Did he stay with the guild?
As far as I'm aware, he wasn't able to secure a placement, and after a year or so, he left us.
Why couldn't he find a place?
You shouldn't pry.
It's fine, Crispin. My father was accused of drinking too much and setting the stable on fire.
That's unexpected.
Let me just say, no one can question my loyalty to the Valkyries, but what twaddle.
What do you mean?
At the time, I was under butler, and your father did nothing wrong. If not for him, that fire could have taken the horses and the house. I know for a fact that he was as sober as my morning tea.
How?
I oversaw the wine cellar.
Doesn't mean he couldn't have nipped a bottle or two when you weren't looking, or had a flask tucked under some hay.
He wasn't that kind of person. At least, not at the time he wasn't.
What's the real story?
Utter a word of this to anyone, and I shall deny it all.
Not a word from me.
Well, the children had gone for a long ride that afternoon up the mountain. They found some kind of cottage in the woods and lost track of time exploring. Didn't make it back until it was quite late. Lady Josephine and Lord Stellen would have been in their 20s. Lord Lucas was barely a teenager. And, like most boys of a certain age, he was terribly upset with Lord Stellen over something no one can remember.
Seems nothing's really changed.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that. Now, your father was responsible for the horses and keeping the stable free of ruin. But the children had returned so late that he had to work into the night. I remember because he came to me needing alcohol to make the ruin wash. Well, while he was scrubbing the stables, he heard a sawing noise coming from a stall. He didn't know what it was and worried it was some kind of ruined vermin. So he grabbed the shotgun and crept towards the stall. Then, at the last second, he leveled his gun.
Was it a ruined possum? A flesh-eater? A chimera?
It was Lord Lucas.
What?
Lord Lucas had a file, or pocket saw, something he'd found in the workshop, and was sawing into Lord Stellen's saddle, down at the stirrups. Well, we assume he was trying to make it so a stirrup would snap on Lord Stellen's next ride. But when Liam pointed the shotgun at him, it terrified the boy. Lord Lucas knocked over his lantern, the straw caught fire, and with the alcohol wash still wet, the building went up like a tinderbox. He got Lord Lucas out with the horses, and while he saved the animals, the property damage was extensive.
Did they not know it was Lucas's fault? Did no one tell them?
I wouldn't want to speculate.
So they knew it was him.
Well, Lord Stellen's horse was a chestnut gelding he'd had since he was a child, and unfortunately the horse suffered some burns as a result and couldn't be ridden anymore. He lived, thanks to your father, but it was a terrible, heartbreaking time.
They blamed it on my father, so Lucas would be blameless. I can't. I don't even have words.
I didn't mean to upset you, Miss Quinn. Can I get you something?
Lucas's head on a platter?
Okay, let's not do that.
His family, If you'll excuse me, I have a lesson to teach.
We're talking about Lady Josephine, right? Not like...
Yes, Perry. We're talking about Lady Josephine.
Oh, I do apologize, Miss Quinn. I never should have mentioned it.
I'm glad you did. And, well, from what I've gathered, if I understand correctly, and maybe you can clarify this, but if Lady Josephine inherits Clawmoor, regardless of if she sells it, Lord Lucas is left empty-handed?
Lady Josephine might offer him a percentage or...
But he wouldn't be Baron, right?
Very unlikely.
Great. Then I have a job to do, if you'll excuse me.
I didn't mean to upset you, Miss Quinn. Can I get you something? Lucas's head on a platter. That's what you wanted. I have it right here in this report. Threatening violence in front of the Valgreave staff. And you thought no one would hear you?
I was angry.
So angry, you made a point of interfering with Lord Clawmoor's son and heir.
I was doing...
Yet you deny you wanted revenge.
Of course I deny.
Is this the professionalism we should expect from our fellows?
Would you let me speak?
Please, do.
Do you think I would spend 10 years plotting revenge for a father who left us? By your own report, I didn't even know the truth of his dismissal until Crispin told me. As far as I was concerned, I had one job: convince Lady Josephine to be a baroness. Would this block Lord Lucas from inheriting the barony? Yes. Would I have been glad for that? Of course. But don't mistake that for motive. It was motivation.
I see. Please continue.
When I found Lady Josephine, she was at breakfast with her family and her cousin, Lady Tessa. With the engagement ball only hours away, I insisted she spend 1 or 2 of them with me.
Yasmin told me she'd have the seating chart done this morning.
Then she'll have it. Yasmin Farouk is your wedding planner? Incredible.
Do you remember the Goldie Park wedding where we met?
Who could ever forget that much spectacle?
Remember that Duchess who had you cornered like an animal? You could have ended up with her if I hadn't come to your rescue.
Anytime a Goldie Park calls themselves a duchess, it reminds me of Aunt Fidelia's dog.
Well, she was a bit of a...
Pardon the interruption.
Oh, you're here for Josephine, I see.
Papa, no! The ball is tonight. I don't have time for a history lesson.
Make time.
I need hours just to get ready.
Just do as he asks.
Stay out of it, Stellen.
Tiberius, darling, let Josephine enjoy the day.
Oh, it's best she learns that duty is inconvenient.
I'll go if Josephine doesn't want to. I'd be willing to learn about Clawmoor.
What a wonderful idea. Let's send Lucas with Miss Quinn.
I tailored the lesson around Lady Josephine. Yes, that's what I did. I'm so sorry.
Surely adapting the material isn't impossible, unless you feel the challenge is beyond your skill.
You make an excellent point, Your Ladyship. If Lord Clawmoor would prefer I tutor Lord Lucas, then of course.
I would not prefer it.
Your lordship.
Yes, Crispin. What is it?
Master Yasmin Farouk of the Peacock's Feast has arrived.
She's here.
She requests the attention of Ladies Josephine and Inez.
I couldn't possibly make any decisions without Josie there.
As a baroness's wife, you'll do...
Tiberius! Water, please!
I've got it.
I'll call the doctor.
Someone help him! He can't breathe!
I'm here. Just breathe. Breathe. Can you sit up? Drink this.
I'll lift him. Someone get me a napkin.
Here.
There's so much blood.
I always loved you all more than I can show.
You're not leaving us yet, darling. I won't let you. Now drink this.
We need to get him to his room.
What can I do?
Take his other arm.
That's right, darling. Just breathe.
I can make it. Help me, Stellen.
Are you all right, Papa?
He'll be fine. You and Inez should take your meeting. We have this in hand.
I have you. Lucas, get the door.
We can revisit the idea of a lesson after the ball, Miss Quinn.
Of course. And if there is anything I can do in the meantime?
Thank you. Inez, come with me.
There was just so much blood.
I know, my love. But everything is fine.
It's frightening how quickly things can turn serious.
Has he been like this for long?
For years. Well, not this. He developed a cough a few years ago. In the last couple of months, it's gotten exponentially worse. But that was tremendously disconcerting.
Can I get you something?
Out of this room, perhaps? Come on, precious. Let's take you for a walk. Would you like to join us, Miss Quinn?
I would. Thank you.
They say you studied Clawmoor Heights.
I did.
And your thoughts?
It's heavier than I expected.
What do you mean?
The weight of it. Over time, immersing myself in the history of this place, I can't quite explain it. I developed this peculiar longing, like being homesick for a place you've never been.
But then you got here, and it didn't feel like home.
Well, see, that's the strangest part. Because it kind of does. Take dinner, for example. No one needed to show me where to go. I recognized the faces in the family portraits.
You probably know them better than we do.
Maybe. And, well, take this tiered fountain. I know Lord Clawmoor commissioned it after his first wife's passing, and that the birds perched on the rims each represent a year they spent together. But I've never spent an afternoon sitting by it.
Then we should sit, please. Cordelia died shortly before I was born. Josephine and Stellen were just children.
8 and 5, respectively.
That young. No wonder.
No wonder what?
Josephine is better at hiding it than Stellen, but it left a mark. I know it's one reason Josephine is so desperate to leave. And Stellen...
We didn't start on the best terms. He doesn't seem too fond of me.
That probably has less to do with you than you think. He's always pushed people away. If you never get close to anyone, you never have to suffer when they leave.
I know that feeling well.
Oh?
I just remember how hurt I was when someone I loved very much left me. And I was old enough to be on my own. I can't imagine what that would do to a child.
What if I helped smooth things over between you tonight?
But the ball is tonight.
Yes, at the ball.
Oh, I wasn't invited.
Then come as my guest.
I suppose I do still have the dress Inez gave me.
The yellow one?
Mm-hmm.
That's a dinner dress, you silly goose. You need a ball gown.
Oh.
You true folk are adorable sometimes. Let's go get that dress.
But you said it wouldn't work for a ball.
No, I said it was a dinner dress. Udolpho will turn it into something perfect for tonight.
Udolpho?
My personal couturier. I can't have him sitting around all day eating macarons. Come with me.
Fair enough.
Here, precious. Here. Time to go inside. Mama has a scheme for tonight. We're gonna get Uncle Stellen and Auntie Agatha to dance.
Clawmoor Heights stars Kate Siegel, Indira Varma, Byron Mann, Shannon Uphold, Jay Sullivan, Sean Patrick Judge, and Jovan Jackson. Written and directed by Rachel J. Wilkinson. Original music composition by Brian Michael Fuller. Recorded by Mark Zamora. Sound design by Kay Wilder and Rachel J. Wilkinson. Mix and mastering by Brian Michael Fuller. Clawmoor Heights is a Studio Hermitage production. Visit us at ourbrilliantruin.com.